I quit my job without another one lined up. Hello and welcome back to another video. I wanted to sit down and do a life update because things have been wild. And before I continue to make my content and record my videos going throughout my journey, I feel like I need to sit down and explain the shift and the change. I also want to document the shift and the change because I think this is just the beginning and it's going to get wild and crazy and fun. I've been on a healing journey back to myself, and when I say back to myself, I mean the self that I was before I was conditioned with limited beliefs, society's opinion on how I should be, how I should be received, and the way that you change yourself throughout life to fit in. I no longer want to fit in, and I no longer want to lay down and just go with the flow of someone else's narrative. So I've been on that journey, I would say maybe a year, and I've lost a lot of friendships along the way, a lot of relationships along the way, and losing those friendships and coming out of those environments when it happened, it hurts. But I started to realize that if I'm going to flow and I'm also going to heal and grow, I have to be ready to let go of people, places, and things when I get to that crossroad and it's time to let them go. Holding on to them will only do more damage to self and create another thing that I have to heal from. As you can tell by the title, I quit my job without another one lined up. For the last few months, I have been growing frustrated at my job. Don't get me wrong, I had a great job. I even had it made where I didn't have a supervisor that micromanaged. I actually didn't have a supervisor that knew what she was doing. So it made my job in some ways a little bit easier and a little bit better as far as being in that environment where I'm left alone and nobody bothers me outside of the pettiness of the job. But when it came to my job, I loved my patients, I loved my job, I was really good at my job, and I knew what I was doing. But every day I was getting to work, and I would say a good 6 out of those 8 hours a day I spent daydreaming, and I'm thinking of all the things that I would rather be doing, like editing the sports videos, editing my personal content for the channel, juicing, just so many different things that I would rather be doing than going to this job that, in my opinion, wasn't where my life purpose and my passion is at. It was getting harder and harder to go to work and stay focused, stay on task, do what I needed to do. And I just started to feel like if my desire was growing greater, then in my opinion that meant maybe I'm getting closer to a change, a shift where I'm coming out of this 40-hour a week, 5 days a week feeling of unbalancedness with my life, and it's time to make a change. In about December of last year, I started to think this is going to be the last year that I work a full-time 40-hour job. I joke all the time with my family and my friends that I'm retiring before 40. There's no way I'm signing up for the whole work till you're 70 and then you can retire. There's no way that I can stay in a job that is not my passion and my life purpose for 40 more years and be happy doing it and getting up every day and doing it. I just don't see it. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to speak it until it happens. So for like the last 2 years, anytime anybody talks to me about retirement and you've got a good while, no, I don't. No, I don't. It's coming. It's coming soon, because this is not the life that I want for myself. I don't want to work for a job that I don't love and I'm not passionate about, and it's not my life purpose for 40 plus years. And then I get to start living. I want to live now. I want to be passionate about the things that I do and the things that I offer to this world now. I want to explore now. So this is where the hesitation comes in and the limited beliefs that was and currently still in. In my mind, I've been going back and forth with the thought of leaving. Hold on, there's sirens. Jeez. Alright, so I knew it was time to leave my job back in December of 2023, but I was extremely hesitant to just jump off the cliff and leave my steady, guaranteed income from this full-time job. So I just pushed it away, kept it pushing, kept going to work my 40 hours, 5 days a week. And in my mind, I had shifted into doing the bare minimum. And when I say bare minimum, it's probably just a regular work ethic for normal people, because when I go into a job, I want to do my best, be my best, provide my best, and most of the time, in my opinion, that's really going above and beyond. So once I got to that point where I realized this job is depleting and draining me more than it's offering me anything or pouring back into me, the only thing it's providing me is a steady paycheck that is, in my opinion, it's doing the bare minimum. It's paying the bills, but it's not doing what I know life has to offer for me. So the feeling crept back in March. It was like before, maybe like last year, I was having this thought maybe 2 to 3 times in a year. I had the thought in December to quit and leave, and then it came back in March. So when it came back in March, I was thinking, I'm not ready to leave. Who's going to pay these bills? Like, I just got a new car. I have a car payment, higher car insurance. I have 3 children. I have bills. I can't just leave the job and I don't have another one. Because I wasn't ready to leave fully, I thought to myself, if you're not ready, go part-time. Ask to go part-time. That way you're still putting in hours, you're still receiving some income, but you also have time to pour into your content creation. Because my goal, and I really truly believe there is a future Jasmine Danielle that is living the life and the dream that I think of now as a full-time content creator and a balanced woman in motherhood and individuality, living her life of ease. She's somewhere and I cannot wait to meet her. And until I meet her, I'm going to put in the work to get to that point. So I asked to go part-time at my job, which, let me say this, there are a number of people that have come before me that were full-time employees and have left to go PRN, which means you work as needed, but because it's needed in the hospital setting, they still work 30 to 35, sometimes even 40 hours a week. But it's not a commitment to be there full time. You're PRN, you work as needed. You basically create your own schedule. I've seen a number of people in and out before me that has been offered to, and they have accepted it. So in my mind, I was thinking, I'm not asking for something that's impossible. So I sent the email and basically told my supervisor that due to some personal life changes, I would like to decrease my hours and go part-time. I am well aware, and my supervisor is well aware, that in the part-time hours I would still be working. I could do my full-time job 2 times around. So once I sent the email, I told myself, if my part-time request is approved, then it was meant for me to stay here. It's not time for me to leave. And if the part-time request was denied, it's time to go. It's time to jump. I felt like Spirit was telling me it was time to leave, but I wasn't ready and I was standing in the way from that jump. So in my mind, this compromise was going to give me confirmation. The answer was no. My supervisor's director denied my request. My supervisor also denied my request. And they suggested that I look within the hospital for other positions that might meet my part-time need. And for a moment, I sat there almost disappointed, and I almost even started looking for other positions in the hospital for what could meet my part-time need, until I realized, with the experience and the knowledge that I have in the field that I'm in and what I provide to this team, there's no other department that I should be in with those credentials. And also, the message was not a yes, you can do this, or no, you could do this. they were just the messenger. The message was greater than, no, you can't work part-time, we need you full-time. The message was, I told you back in December it was time for you to jump, and I'm telling you now in March it's time for you to jump. And even though you wanted to meet in the middle and compromise and stay on part-time, I'm telling you again, it's time to leave. So same day they denied my request, I typed up my resignation letter. And at my job you have to work a 30-day notice, and I told them in 30 days my last day would be April 12th, and I will no longer be staying with the company. So after I put my notice in, those first 2 weeks, I wasn't sad. That was probably the most I had smiled in years at a place of employment, knowing that I stood on business for me, my mental, physical, spiritual health and peace. I'm not compromising. I'm not folding. I'm not laying down, because this is no longer working for me. So after about those first 2 weeks, I started to realize, okay, you know what you just did, right? Like you don't have a job lined up, but you're getting ready to leave your constant and steady income. What are you going to do about bills? And I started to go through the feelings of, when you're going up a roller coaster. I think of the Chariot from Busch Gardens. I don't know if that's still there, but it was a roller coaster I rode when I was in middle school, and it was high. And you're thinking like, should I have got on this ride? Like I really wish I could just turn around and go back. Like I really don't want to do this. I wasn't thinking, like I didn't fully process this. And then you get to the top and you're just plummeting down and your stomach drops. That's what it felt like leading up to my last day at work. And I even contemplated going back to HR and reneging my resignation. Like I was just kidding, just joking, I want to stay. But I kept telling myself, do you want to see what is possible, or do you want to stay in what's comfortable? And I've been in my comfort zone long enough to know this like the back of my hand. What Monday's going to be like, Tuesday's going to be like, Friday's going to be like, Saturday's going to be like. I would much rather say that I tried it and this is what happened than continue to live my life for the next 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years thinking I could have done this and I wanted to try this, but I was so scared as to what could happen. Because really, what could happen? What could happen? What's the worst that could happen? I go get another job. But that's not going to happen, because I truly believe that as long as I am walking in my authenticity, my true authenticity, God is going to carry me, cover me, and bring me to what is meant for me. Every time I'd have those thoughts of worry, doubt, and just stress of the expenses I have over here and the income I'm letting go over here, I would stop and I would honor them, because I feel like if I just push them away, like, don't think that, Jasmine, you're just going to recreate what you don't want to create, they come back up. So when they come up, I stop and I honor them that, yes, you do feel scared, you do feel fear, and that's only because you are coming up out of your comfort zone and you're moving into a territory that you've never been in before. I was raised that you never quit a job without having another one lined up. And when you get into a job, you do all the things that you're supposed to do so that you don't put yourself in a predicament to get fired. And that to me is another form of living in fear, because you never know the day that a job could decide to, one, lay you off. I've experienced that. Or two, decide to fire you and let you go. I've also experienced that. But this is my first time deciding enough is enough and I'm leaving this job to go do something that I love to do and that I'm passionate about, and flow with whatever opportunities are meant for me to just come to me, and not me going to search for something that may or may not be meant for me. And I say I've never left a job before to enter the unknown, but what I do know is I've always been taken care of. When I got laid off from my job after I had had my youngest son, I had been trying to leave that job to get a new job for months before they decided to lay us off. And I was qualified for all the positions that I was applying for. There were even people with less experience than me at that job getting hired on these jobs that I was applying for, and I did not understand for months, like, why aren't they hiring me? For us to be laid off from the job, to get a massive severance package that allowed me to stay at home with my last child for more than 11 months. And our bills were paid. We did not go without food. We did not go without the things that we needed. And I was living a soft life at that time. But also at that time, I was still conditioned to believe I needed to go get a job, because that was the only way we were going to survive, is if I got a job and we had income coming in from said job. So I started putting out there, I don't want to work in a call center. I wanted to work 8 to 5. I wanted to have a great salary with benefits, Monday through Friday, data entry type job. What did I get? I got the job at DSS. I got exactly what I was calling in. So what I do know at this time right now, even though I don't know what's next, I don't know what's coming, I know the power that I hold within me, within my faith, and that God has covered me over the last 34 years and will continue to cover, guide, and protect me and provide me the things that I not only need, but that I also want. My desires will be provided, and they will come in greater aspects than what I'm even asking for. So even though I don't know what's coming, I know the power I hold within me to ask for what I want and to wait for it to come to me. So I'm just going to document my journey on this new chapter of my life. I'm going to take you guys along with me week after week of quitting my job without having another one lined up. I don't know what's coming, but I do know I'm standing on business, okay? I'm standing on business for my peace, for my health, and for my ability to have all that I know that I deserve. I have a few goals. One thing I used to say before I left my job was, if I ever get fired, I want to drive school buses. I don't know why I want to drive school buses. I think it might be the schedule, and it's just something I'm interested in. Like, I'm interested in going to see if I can get my CDL, see if I'm able to drive the school bus, see if I enjoy doing something that allows me to be in the sun and in the weather throughout the day. One thing I am definitely fed up of is being in an office setting with no windows and no outside light. I want to be, my right ear is ringing right now. I want to be outside in the sun, grounding throughout the day in whatever I decide to do. So driving school buses is one of my desires or goals. Also, I even want to try bartending. All the things that I've always had thoughts of doing over these last, how old am I? 34, 18 years that I maybe wanted to do, but in my belief and in myself, I was telling myself, that's not going to make you enough money to provide for you and your kids. That's not going to provide you health benefits. It's not going to give you retirement benefits. All the things that I was interested in, but convinced myself it wasn't good enough for me and my children. I want to do all the things, because one thing I know about me is, in anything that I touch and anything that I do, I've always been good at it. Even if it's something I have no knowledge on, once you teach it to me, I become great at it because I just put my all into it. So I'm very confident in anything that I try and anything that I do, I'll be great at it. My thing is, does it make me feel good? Am I happy to wake up to go do it? Does it give me peace? And how long do I want to do it? Because I don't feel like we have to be in these jobs and we have to be in these positions and we have to be in these roles forever. Do it for as long as it makes you happy. And once it doesn't make you happy, shift, move, pivot, try something new. Like, just keep not chasing. We're not chasing. Be open to receive and to move and to go to anything that feels good and brings you peace, whether that be in friendships, relationships, or jobs, careers, passions, hobbies. Another goal I have is to learn how to speak Spanish. I took Spanish when I was in school, but I felt like the Spanish lessons that we receive in one class, one semester in school was not enough. I want to speak Spanish fluently. I want to go to Mexico and know what people are saying to me, speak fluently in conversation. When I'm listening to Spanish music, I understand. Spanish and Haitian Creole, I think after working in the hospital setting and not being able to speak to our patients without a translator or an interpreter, I never liked that. I want to be able to speak directly to other people that speak other languages and have a personal bond connection when I'm speaking to them, and to remove the middleman. So that's another thing on my list that I want to learn how to do. But the number one thing that I want to focus on in this very moment is my health. My stress levels, I would say they have come down and they have decreased in the past year. I don't think they're non-existent. My cortisol levels, I'm pretty sure they've got some level to them. But my number one goal right now is to get my physical body, spiritual body, mental health in total check and control. So when I say that, I mean the things that I'm eating, the habits that are not the best and conducive for my total and overall health. I want to get those in order. I think on the mental and spiritual aspect, I've been actively working on those for over a year now. I journal consistently now for a year. March celebrated a year that I have consistently and daily been journaling my thoughts, feelings, and just experiences. One thing I do want to add to the mental health aspect is starting therapy. I've known for a while that I probably should go to therapy and just have someone else talk to me and pick my brain and work through things with me from childhood to present day, and the things that I've experienced and gone through that are probably still sitting and festering somewhere in my body that just need to be worked through and processed. So that is also on the list. When it comes to my physical health, I want to get back to exercise. I felt like when I was working full time, I wake up in the morning, I take my kids to school, I go to work. I leave work, I pick my kids up from school, I come home. And we got to go to a practice or we got to go to a game. And two things that I passionately want to get back into, but felt like when I was working full time outside the house, I didn't have time for, was cooking and exercising. And those are two things that I am excited about building back into my everyday routine. Meditating is also something for my mental, physical, and spiritual health that I want to add. Grounding outside in the middle of the day, in the sun, in the grass, with no shoes on. There's a number of things on my list that I want to do, but getting my physical body in check and health in check is my primary focus right now. And again, like I said, I'll be taking you guys along on the journey with me so you can just see what is going to happen next and what could happen if you take the courageous step to put yourself first, despite what you've been conditioned to believe, what you should do, and how you should live your life. So please, if you have any encouragement, any kind, loving words, because let me put this disclaimer out there also. Any negative thoughts, comments, feelings, or intentions that is placed upon my life or my future will only be canceled and transmuted into the energy that I need to bring in the prosperous and abundant future that I know I deserve and will have. So like I said, if you have anything encouraging, loving, kind, inspiring, motivating, just leave it a comment down below. I would love to read those. And again, thank you for watching, supporting, and stay tuned for the next video.